Everybody, welcome to Stockradar, Stocks on the Move for another week. Today's date is the 29th of May 2025. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Well, welcome to another edition. Today we'll talk about my favourite topic, trends. For those that extend, the one that gives an extra boost to our returns and move into outperformance mode, as many of them do. And also a simple and very useful price analysis tip that I look for all the time and occur all the time. There's actually a couple of them that I want to talk about today, just to focus on, to try and help you, guide you with some of these patterns as to why they happen. Sometimes they don't always work out, but there's reasons for that, and we need to be observant to watch these sorts of things. Okay, so catching trends that extend is what our main aim is today. Okay, now firstly, trend intensity rankings. Brambles, you can see that in the chart there. It's been a very slow, steady performer, up and up and up and up, and now starting to extend its trend after having a fairly steady rise. EVN is going gangbusters in the gold price. Mediabank Private, 2 down weeks in 13, not bad. Megaport now has a breakup, having a bit of a run. Sigma's emerging from those highs slowly but surely. Telstra has been a killer for us. 380 12 months ago, 480 now, nearly 470, wherever it is. We've got T&E breaking up, no uncertain terms. A couple of new stocks here, Ventia and QBE have also new breakups, and CBA is the eternal trender, extend. Okay, so they're the top 10 trend intensity ratings. They're that's not a complete picture. There are some others in there, but there's just a few selections of them for you for the moment. Okay, so we've got our stock pick rate count is up 2 again this week to 40 picks. So just slowly we've been accumulating a few. We've probably got down to a low of nearly 20, I think, at one stage. So we're adding a few more. Portfolios are full. They're not hard to full because they've only got 5 stocks in them. Or maybe if you do a 10-stock portfolio, the 5 stocks what I prefer. It's the better performer and it's lower cost. All the good reasons for having a smaller portfolio. So we've got 37 stock picks all up over 158 stocks, and there's 3 ETFs of 26 still sitting there. Okay, now quick portfolio update for you. Firstly, conservative fund, which has been running for a long time, since 2023. It has 7 out of 10 stocks. It has a little bit of a cash balance there of 30%. It runs at about 10.5%, generally between 10 and 11 most of the time. So it's been a nice sort of steady performer there. And again, it gives you that bit of predictability as to where you might be in 10 years' time, roughly, if you're running a portfolio. Then we've got the perhaps more volatile but the higher return, which is the Energizer 5 stock, my premium portfolio. 5 out of 5 stocks at the moment. We use a data universe of 100. It's 100% equities, no cash at the moment. Effective use of capital as interest rates go down, and it's generating 17.3 CAGR over that period, which is fantastic. Then we've got the Energizer 10 stock, which is full, generating 12.5%, pretty steady around that level most of the time. Then we've got the 2 shorter portfolios, and again, Energizer 5 stocks started in August 20. It's running at 12.7%, and the one we started in March 21 is running at 14.7%, and it's been picking up quite nicely lately, both those portfolios, as the market's been running on well. The interesting thing is at the moment we've got a lot of stocks hitting our radar at the moment. As we go through some of the stocks today, you can just see there's just a wealth of stocks waiting to break up. So are we in for another golden era? I don't really know, but we'll wait to see what happens. But slowly but surely we're getting more stock picks in there, and some stocks are running really well. Some stocks are extending their trends. So it's quite an exciting period to be in at the moment. Okay, so let's now get to the overseas markets for you and see what they can tell us. There's really not a lot of change in the overseas markets. The Dow is mid-range, sitting there. This is a danger area really for it. We've had a pretty sharp rally off this low here. But again here, there's a fair bit of congestion through here, a couple of highs here. So it's going to take a bit of work to get through there, okay? Nasdaq and S&P are both quite close to the highs, but haven't got through them. So they've come up to this area here, which is where we saw a bit of congestion here back into the early start of this year. And that's now provided resistance for the last 3 weeks. We've seen the candles extend and not go any further than about 19,240 on the Nasdaq. And if we look at the S&P, it's a similar picture. It's come up to this little congestion area here, and its high at the moment is 5965, and the all-time high is 66120. So we're not far from there, but we're not there yet. We've got a mixed package here of volume, and momentum really is fairly neutral. Not a lot of price momentum. We've had down, we've had up. Now it's fairly square, so that's just the way that is. Okay, so they're the indices. We've got to be careful because we're at near highs. Okay, so just watch that. And our market as well, a bit similar. it's come back to these highs pretty quickly. We've seen some good runs by some of the miners, some of our gold sectors, gold stocks, things like that, and some of our technology stocks have been running on well again. So as also, so the market's really this is the top 20 index more or less than anything. So really we're just watching that. But it's really, it's heading towards those highs. We're getting to danger area. This is neutral, turning a little bit positive maybe, but really that's the area there. 8555 is the high there for the ASX 200. Okay, we go to gold. Not going to waste a lot of time on this. It's just going up and up and up. Little trend, little sideways movement for the last few weeks, but still looks fine. Copper, long-term bullish on this one. We just wait for this one to happen. We're going to talk about these flat bottom triangles, which I like very much. You've got a big resistance up here and all these higher lows creeping up as pressure builds on these sellers, okay? Now, not a definite thing, but usually I look for this to break up, not down. That's the probability case for it. So that doesn't mean it always is going to do it, but for us, that's what we're going to do. It's a long-term chart here we're looking at, so we just wait patiently for copper, and it's got to be a long-term bullish scenario for copper, for some of the copper stocks, Sandfire, BHP, Rio, all these stocks, and none of those big leaders are doing anything at the moment. So they need some sort of spike to get them moving again. Okay, and Brent crude, it really hasn't not done very much. Again, it's still in that downtrend phase here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. There's interesting, we've got some sell-off here. We've got some reasonable buying through here. So it's just going to drift down. It may have a rally, pull back again. That's all we're seeing at the moment. Lower highs all the time and then lower lows. Okay, so that's Brent crude. Okay, now we can get to our market. There's a few stocks here, a couple of leaders I just want to quickly run through. We've seen them before, but I'm just telling you again, these stocks are safe stocks. Well, no, I shouldn't say safe, it's not the right thing to say, but they're good performers, they're liquid stocks, they're highly unlikely to disappear overnight. But this stock here has run from, it's at 380 to nearly 480, 470 at the moment, and it's been a very good performer for us, and we've had a very good breakout around here, which has been quite encouraging for me on Telstra. Trend intensity rating of 10. Brambles, we've seen, it's all of a sudden started to extend that rally again. We're up nearly $1 this week. Looking fantastic, great volume, momentum's good. So it's going to continue higher, I would have thought. Or the odds are. QBE is another one. So there's quite a bunch of these leaders that are doing really well. And QBE is just making another high this week and looking pretty good after that break up here back in October, November last year. Okay, so there's some of those leaders there. I want to talk about these flat top triangles for you, just for a little bit. The interesting thing is I do tend to look for them to break up, but the master stock of our market, BHP, it developed a big uptrending flat top triangle here a long time ago, but it didn't break up. Okay, so this is always got to be on the cards, and it's also about not anticipating moves. So I'm sitting here looking at this thing. I'm looking at these lows across here. Now this guy's going to break up. We're going to get a great run on this sometime soon. And sure enough, here we go. And it looks like it's about to get through. Then all of a sudden it doesn't. It fails again and again and again here. And then we start to get this start to break. This little horizontal support starts to break. It starts to move below the average, so we're starting to get the feeling that this is not going to work this time. It's not going to turn out, and it doesn't. And it broke down at around 45. It's been down to around 35 now, and it is in a downtrend of lower highs. And that's the situation with BHP at the moment. Okay, so its rates of trend intensity of -6. That's not the real point of it. I'm really talking about these flat top triangles, which the flat top triangles which usually break up. Sorry, a bit sugar coffee. Okay, now, BlueScope Skill is one I'm also watching with the flat top triangle. Again, we've got this pattern here sitting there. We've got these high lows that have come through here. We've got a clear resistance level up here at around about 25, 24, and certainly the 24 level has been stopping it. It briefly ran through, trying to get through 25 and didn't, and failed again. So again, excuse me, BlueScope Steel is in its flat top triangle, but we're now getting this area here that we look at, similar with BHP, the uptrend line, this horizontal line, and also the moving average, which is up here. So we're still above the moving average, but this is the area I'm going to look at if this is going to break down. So at this stage, what I'm looking at for BlueScope is possibly around $325 on the back of flat top triangle. If it doesn't, we see a breakdown here, and that's the area I'm looking at for support around about $20. Okay, so trend intensity rating is +1. It's ripe and ready to break up, but as I said before, we don't anticipate these moves because it's dangerous to do it, because not 100% guaranteed this is going to work. And look at another stock here called Chorus, which has had quite a lot of trouble up at this highs up around 850 or just below there. And again, we've got these high, low, lows, all these lows coming through here of support, which is what we want to see. But what we really want to see is a break, is a break above the 850 level. So we'll wait patiently for this one again, but again, I'm going to isolate this area down here. You can see the uptrend line here, you can see the horizontal line through here, and you can see the moving average. So it's sort of below the moving average. We don't really want this area here around about 710 to 740 to break down, because if it does, we may see a move down towards 550. So, and it may not work. But again, we just sit here and just respond to the price action as it happens. This may well have another go and go bang again. So as it did here, and it didn't get through. So again, we wait. Trend intensity rating is -7 here, so we really are sitting back, relaxed, and just waiting for all this to happen. It goes in our watch list. You know, I've got all these stocks and alerts that I set every week for you to give you an idea of some of the stocks that might be going to break up. And this one here is probably well off there at the moment, but certainly worth watching, and those flat top triangles. Okay, the other one's similar sort of patterns here. I'm going to look at firstly Temple and Webster, which I've watched for a while. I think I've covered it a couple of times. We've got a beautiful distribution pattern back here. We've got a downtrend followed by an accumulation pattern followed by an uptrend. Now, we've got a good uptrend phase, but this one here has gone through the new high, so it's now extending its trend nicely, and you can see how quickly it's moving up here at the moment. It's looking very strong. It came back, found support at the old high, and then rallied on, continuing explosive move up through here. So this trend is really an extension move of what we've already had from down here. So it started at around $4, and it's now up around $21.49. So a fairly big move for us, but this really was a bit of a key that it was going to extend through here. Okay, so then we go and have a look at a similar stock, Zero, similar trading pattern, similar trading action. We've got the distribution, the downtrend, the accumulation here, into a nice little uptrend here, which broke the new highs, continued on around, looked fantastic until Trump came along, and these things happen. Remember, I'm going to talk about the black swan events in my newsletter this week. These things always happen. You know, you get a nice trend, then something happens and just kills it, and then we see what happens after that, because we can follow a similar price action that happens in most instances. So black swan events occur. The event doesn't matter so much; it's the price action we're concerned about. Okay, so in this instance here, Zero's made a new high. We've been taken out of this one because it stopped us out, but we will certainly have another go on this one, because if it does make a new high here, we look at this as confirmation that this trend will extend higher further again and continue on higher. So I'm really just waiting for this to fall at the moment, which is up around 186.87. But Zero is looking very good, and I think fundamentally, I believe it's quite a solid stock. Okay, so we've got a bit of volume through here. I'll just push this up a little bit. We've got a bit of volume knocking on this door here, this last rally. Momentum started to pick up. It's an interesting rally. So this part is over. We've forgotten about Trump now, and we're back on looking at the price action of Zero, which looks very, very good indeed. I know it's a little bit of a high price stock, but that's can't do much about that. Okay, so that's another little idea for you. Just looking at how these trends extend. A new high is always a signal, if you've got a good trend, that it's likely to continue on higher again. Okay, not exactly the same way every time. Like this one here, we've been stopped out, but we go again as soon as we get a new high. And that's what we always do to make sure that we are exposed to any possible uptrend, because we know a good uptrend can really generate some returns for us. Okay, so that's Temple, Webster, and Zero. Three other stocks I'm going to want to show you here. This is all about resistance. Now, resistance can occur anywhere. It can be a trend reversal, it can be a new high, it can just be sitting in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden we get this stock that just keeps bouncing into this one spot. And we start to get these levels that appear, all these highs, and they make up a resistance level. And once these resistance levels are broken, it usually signals another move, because you've got some sellers here selling here, and the buyers are bang in this store. And eventually, when the buyers take it through, the sellers will reverse their positions and add to the buying, because they've got to buy back. So this is why I love watching these positions. So there's a couple of stocks I just want to go through for you today to have a look at. Firstly, Homeco, which is in the right position because we've got a downtrend, we've had an accumulation phase, and we're now looking for that uptrend phase. Okay, so so for here we've got 1, 2, 3 tops up here at the moment. You could call this 4 if you wanted to, but this area here is where the sellers are lurking and hiding and telling us where they are. In fact, they're not hiding at all. They're just sitting here at about 131, knocking this prices back every time it goes. But we have a high low here and a high low here, and this is having another go. And now we're starting to get a bit of building volume, and now we're starting to get a bit of price power in here. So all of a sudden, the picture is looking a little bit more bullish. And again, we're playing the odds, not the guarantee of a rally, but the chances are when we get a break of this resistance area, because we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 points on it, it's a very likely that these sellers are going to be in trouble when the price goes above here, and they'll reverse their position. So that's why they work. That's why they give you a good move higher. So if you can isolate these resistance levels, and I'm usually looking at them in trend reversals or high or all-time highs, but in this situation it's a trend reversal, and I've got the confirming indicator from my trend intensity indicator of volume, price power are above the moving average. This is 0. It will kick into bull mode if we get a price confirmation. Okay, so if you can isolate these levels, you see 3 or 4 tops, it's certainly worth focusing on, because you can buy with a stop below there, a risk stop, however low you want to put that. So if we now go across to another stock called Scentre Group, which is a property stock which has been around for a while. Again, it's had a lot of trouble up here. You can see the property stocks are all weird ones at the moment. We've got some ones going really well, some collapsing. Goodman's come all the way back. It had a great run. Stockland started to break up, as has Vicinity Centres. Scentre Group, well, what's it going to do? I don't really know. All I know is there's a clear resistance level sitting here at about, let's call that 370, 374. Now, if this breaks here, that suggests to me that these sellers have wilted and the buyers are strong enough to push this market through. So we've had a fairly hefty bout of selling here, which didn't really, it pushed the price down, but it's held up pretty well. Okay, and now we've got the buyers tentatively returning, because they're pretty wary of this spot here, to try and push it through there. Now, if they do get it through, it makes a new high. It's also a break of a resistance level, which has got 4 solid points on it. Okay, the more points on it, the more valid it is. Okay, so it's 4 good points on this. If I saw a break of this, then I'm looking for a good rally, and I'm setting a stop and buying this one. So that's Scentre Group for you, and that's a clear resistance level. That's at some highs there for you. Okay. The next one we can look at is Bapcor. After that failed takeover thing from, I think it was Bain or something like that, Bapcor now is back on track. We've got a downtrend here. We've got an accumulation pattern that's developed, and now we're getting a little rally through here, not on wild volume, but certainly supportive volume, a little bit of volume there, a little bit of buyer interest, tentative, a bit like Scentre Group, not 100%, but looking okay. Sometimes it takes a while for the volume to pick up, and it probably will pick up here, because here, when we get a break of this resistance level, we get those sellers becoming buyers. So all of a sudden we've got very few sellers and a lot of buyers. So there's only one way the price can go until that comes back into balance. Okay, so here we've got some tentative buying pushing this up. Momentum's moved into positive territory. And the moving average, interestingly enough to me, has started to flatten out. It's above the price is above the moving average, but it's started to flatten out and even turn up a little bit. It's like this slow turn of a trend, accumulation pattern into an uptrend phase. It just takes time. We just have to be patient with this. So I'm going to watch this. This is a resistance, trend reversal level that, if broken, is likely to trigger a rally. Okay, so that's Bapcor for you. It's been off our radar for a long time, but it's now back on it at the moment. So watch those resistance levels. They can be a very good key point for you, key price points for you to watch for price moves to occur. Okay, I have one more little stock for you today. It's a little stock called Magnetic Resources. I don't play in this end most of the time. We did look at a little stock a couple of weeks ago, Australian Financial Development, which has gone for a nice little run, I've got to say. And now I'm looking at this one here, which is called Magnetic Resources, which again, we've got a big high up here, and we've also got 1, 2, 3 good points on here, and now it's starting to push through there, and we can now start to see recently the volume has started to pick up here, especially the last couple of weeks. momentum is bullish, and it's above the average. So again, this is a play you make, okay? They're good risk rewards because the potential is for a good move, but you've still got to make sure you have a stop in place in case this doesn't go wrong, so you limit your loss, okay? So this is a really good opportunity to have a trade which may have a small loss, but more likely a big profit, which is what we want to see. So that's Magnetic Resource for you. Have a look at and have a play with that one if you want to. Okay, now what I want to get into is a few slides. I think I've gone through most of that stuff there. We've got 2 new entries from our neutral zone this week, from our prospect list this week, which has been good. And I've also got an update on the Lottery Corporation, which is looking a bit better this week. You go to the Trading Centre, you can see an update on that. I've had a lot more stocks hitting the radar. It's a really interesting period at the moment. Check all the neutral ratings in the Trading Centre. That's where your prospects will come from. That's where your trends will start to come from. Okay, so let's just talk about brief little bit about portfolios. Obviously run portfolios. You can see all the results of my portfolios. My 5 stock is the main portfolio I like to run because it's the best returner. It's a little bit more volatile, but it is the best return. But again, this is over 23 years, so we know that we've had a period, a couple of years of not many returns. All strategies will have periods of weakness and periods of strength. The main thing is you have more periods of strength than weakness, and that's what we do, and that's why we generate the returns. So when you look for the portfolios, you come into a portfolio service with Stockradar. Don't look for a 1 week, 2 week, 1 year return. You need to wait for a good 5 years to see if this really is working properly. It's a bit like the Energizer 5 stock there in August 20 and March 21. They took a bit of time to take off because they were started during that difficult period, but now they're starting to return as this market kicks up, and we've got some good stocks in those portfolios which are rallying pretty well. If they're not good stocks, they're dumped pretty quickly. Okay, so that's the portfolios return. So briefly, at Stockradar, we don't necessarily pick stocks per se. We qualify stocks based on a simple quantitative process that I have developed, and it builds a portfolio of 5 stocks or 10 stocks, whatever yours is. I prefer 5, and all these stocks have compelling trending attributes. Okay, so again, playing on those odds, compelling trending attributes, more often than not, most will go up, but not all. So we just got to make sure that we're diligent in how we approach it. We make sure we raise our stops when stocks move up, and we make sure we get out when our stops are hit. Okay, so that's how we run our portfolios. You can also go to our About section. If you want to know more about how I work, the basis of how I work, you can go to the About section to discover the inner workings of Stockradar and its processes. Now, this is the menu item here. The About section of Stockradar. I've got what is Stockradar, my strategy, my services, an article on getting real about the stock market. We're not always real about it. We need to be real and honest about the stock market. Guide to using Stockradar. Talk about the trend intensity indicator. Also the premium portfolio services. A fairly extensive article on that and how and why I built that. 10 simple steps to trading success, 10 simple rules to follow to make sure you know what you're doing and you're not doing the wrong thing. And then I've got a couple of interesting articles here, one on the 5-year plan, which I was talking about, the power of patience in the stock market. Can't make it happen quicker than it wants to, okay? And that's the big mistake a lot of people have. They want to get fast returns, and it don't work, I'm afraid. So you need to be patient. That's how you develop get good returns. So the power of patience is I talk about there. And the other article, I talk about trading rules, systems, and processes. All these things that I use to make sure that I'm disciplined in what I do, and I can get my returns by doing that. And I'm not scattergun, random approaching my stock market. There's a very, very simple regimented process that I use. Anyway, that's all there for you to have a look at and read. So back to the portfolios. The portfolio controls that I have in there, we know we've got the 5-stock portfolio. I have stock protection always on my stops. Always. And that is a must. I qualify stock entries until the portfolio is full of 5 stocks. Once it's full, you can't do any more. You just wait patiently. One stock must exit before a new entry is taken. Okay, so that's how it works. If one falls out, then we can add another one. I also have many other filters that I use with Stockradar, and this is what I use to guide members who take up the portfolio service. I try and make them understand things like sector limits, not making all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you spread it evenly or reasonably evenly, not all one, as I say, in one spot. So there are lots of filters that we use to make sure you're on the straight and narrow and you don't detour too much. So it puts you in total control every step of the way. So So each step is carefully worked out and analysed. Okay, so that's the portfolio service for you. The process of running a Stockradar portfolio will take you about 15 minutes a week. Now, I handhold you to start off with because you need to understand what I do, how I work. But once we do it, I send you the entries or the exits. You execute them, you put them into the spreadsheet, and that's it for the week. And you can go and do whatever else you want to do. So it's effective use of capital, simple and time effective. Okay. You can also see Radar's rant in the Radar newsletter, which is out this Saturday, and we discuss identifying and capturing just a little piece of price action, the trend. That's all I'm focused on is the trend. That's all I really look for, and that's my focus and that's my objective. Okay, very, very important to do that. Okay, now here's a lovely disclaimer that I haven't showed you before, but I now have to show you every week, just so as you know that I'm not giving you any personal advice or anything like that, so you can have a look through that for you if you like. Okay, so that's about all I've got for you today. Hopefully there's lots of fun and information and useful tips for you today that you might have had. The newsletter is out Saturday. I discuss topics such as black swan events and review 9 innovation and technology stocks, some of those really exciting stocks we're looking at, and how we capture that little piece of price action, the trend. Okay, our stock of the month is EVN, which has been a real boomer for us, and another stock alert, another diversified stock that I looked at Minnow called Pepper Money. Interesting little stock there, and I'll have a look at that in the newsletter as well. So you can take a free trial of Stockradar and enjoy 2 weeks of watching what I do. Check out our Premier Trading page, the Trading Centre. It's published each Sunday for you, ready for the market on Monday, ready for you to pick up and go. It covers all our covered stocks, boxed up in a simple and easy tabulated format. Entries, exits, stops, reversals, trend intensity ratings, everything you need to know. Okay, so running a process-driven portfolio is simple, time-effective, stress-free. It takes you about 15 minutes a week. Okay, you can build your own from scratch, or you can follow a Stockradar 5-stock portfolio. Whatever you want to do is up to you. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope we've got a good market today. I'm not too sure what the Dow did last night. Not too concerned really, but our stocks are going up, and that's the most important thing. You saw my trend intensity ratings there, and so we've got some great stocks in there that we're holding at the moment. There's only 40 of them, but we're doing okay with those ones. So watch your trends, heed your stops always. Keep it simple, have fun, stay safe, and I will see you all next week again. Thanks very much.